So for this fast, speedy little sketch today, we're going to be sketching Miss Pa boat in States. So the main focus really is going to be just working on that boat and getting that shape. So the first thing I'm going to decide on is where that bow is. So that's going to be roughly there, and then from there we have these two ropes coming off. There's one coming off that way and there's one going out that way, and then the bow comes down here. Now you may have noticed today I'm using this fude pen again, which is a super fun pen to sketch with. They're brilliant fun. Just diving in here with a quick request: could you like and subscribe? Costs you out. Hit the notification bell. And when I look at my stats and I see how few people who watch these videos are actually subscribers, it'd be really great to get a few more people on board. Okay, thanks. I'll get back to the other guy. It has this amazing little bent nib. Now that line's going to come up and round to the stern, so a little bit like that. It's always a bit of a win in a prayer when you do these types of sketches. Now we have these fenders. They're always good to do next. And you can be a little bit sort of abstract with the shape of them, actually. I quite like it when they're a bit wonky and weird. So then we have this shear strake, I believe it's called. I can't remember really. Here's the line coming around here. And then there's another line to there. And then really the shape of the boat actually disappears a bit there from this angle. Now this is a super rough sketch, but I do like doing these really scruffy little drawings sometimes. There's the bit at the back. You then move over here. Normally, it's really nice to sort of turn there. Let's just put a couple of little lobster pot flags in there. I quite like some of those extraneous little details. I'm making it up. You know, I've got oars and all sorts of details and stuff in here, but I'm not gonna do too much. Let's put a little label on there. Here. Now, in terms of some of the more little kind of, as I was saying before, these extra details, we have some kind of rocks here. Now you can kind of truncate, like I said, a lot of this detail, but it's a horizontal floor, so I do try and get some, using this kind of continuous line method, we'll put in some rocks and things, but I will try and give them a vaguely sort of horizontal feel. And obviously you can also use the wide end of the fude pen there to sort of embellish. I've done a little bit of hyper unrealistic perspective in that rope just because I wanted to add a little bit of like fun to it, if you know what I mean. It's going to be quite dark under the boat there. So then the last few little bits, let's do this little boat back here. Again, I'm going to keep the line work pretty simple. And then we have the bridge that runs over the top, but there's some vague house detail. House over there. And then it's all this stuff coming down here to the back on the other side, but I don't necessarily want to do loads of detail there. And the cliff, iconic nab as they call it, that comes down here. Right, I think I'll leave it there. I guess I could put some there. How long's that be? 6 minutes. Yeah, that's about right. So I'm just gonna quickly hair dry this now. I'm quite fond of these deep light watercolors. They are lovely. I do enjoy using them, and if you're interested in any of these deep light watercolors or the amazing little travel brushes that I use a lot of, these are great. And there's a 10% discount in the description. I want to put in a tiny amount of color. I want to see how bare minimal I can go with this. So I might start off with a little bit of water on this side. Now, if you don't know, Patreon is a video platform that has my full lessons on, and they're laid out in a much more structured sort of way, from fundamentals to sort of urban sketching and watercolor. And there you can see all my full videos. But the amazing thing about that is, for the price of a coffee, you get to basically access all the videos for as long as you pay your monthly subscription. There's even a discount for an annual membership. And then some that Marcia green and the chrome green. That chrome green is a little bit of a brute. I always forget and pick up a big chunk of it, and it surprises me. Now, if I get some of the raw sienna, and let's just drab across here, and that's going to sort of hint at that color there. We can also drop in some, we've got some grey. Now, as I was doing this previously, I was saying that one of the things that's quite interesting about this, so just so you know here, I'm mixing some raw sienna with a little bit of blue. One of the things that I noticed about doing this previously is that I was a little bit too subtle really with my pigmentation, and that one of the things I realized is that if you're only putting one layer of something on, you got to be quite bold really. So it'd be interesting to see if I can get that boldness with a little bit more blue and a little bit of the bark. I do like a primary blue and then the bark for a grey. I think it works really well. Right, so what else can I add here? Well, I think a little bit of the rose hip for the life boys here. And also, if I mix a little bit of acorn rust, which is such a beautiful colour into that, it's going to give me a little bit more of a pantile colour, which is a very iconic stays vibe. One of the things that I try and do with these kind of quick drawings is I don't do layers. So I don't hair dry it and then do another layer and then hair dry it and do another layer. I want to try and do it in one. But there is certain challenges with that. And those limitations, you can't really do a lot of detail or stuff that bashes up against other stuff. So therefore the yellow line on this bow is going to be missed off, but I'll try and leave that white line there. So I think for a final touch, if I just put a little bit of shadow inside the boat here, that will help to slightly describe the form. I could do a lot more on this as a watercolor exercise. But one of the things I quite like about this whole concept of this super speedy art is it's about matching the energy of the watercolor to the energy of the line work. And that's something that is really interesting and really interests me about sort of urban sketching and the kind of whole line and wash process. I quite enjoy seeing some very tight, detailed line work with really loose watercolor over the top of it. And there's also the contrast of the loose line work with a really tight painting. That's quite fun too. But often with these quick sketches is you want a kind of harmonious balance. You're not going to be too clever, in scare quotes, clever. You're just trying to get like a lovely balanced feel. Because these sketches do really lend themselves to seeing things like travel journals and like, you know, postcards and things like that. And I love the speed and the immediacy of this kind of thing. And actually, weirdly, the looser it is and the more impressionistic it is, I think the more it has the flavour of the artist on it, in a way. I'm getting close. I'm getting dangerously close to the territory of waffle here. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to leave that there. I like it just as it is. So we'll hair dry it, just have one last layer. Let's sign it. Always sign your work. Why not? Develop a little fun, daft signature, something that you like. Let's sign your work. I'm going to colour in my signature today. Make that D a bit bolder. I mean, that's sort of, 5 minutes sketching and probably about the same on paint. So you don't have to invest a lot of time to really capture something quite quickly. That's really important to realise is that, first of all, the steepest bit of the learning curve is the biggest change, So you get to see the best results. So if you buy a sketchbook and fill that sketchbook with 30 pages or whatever, if it's your first sketchbook from the beginning to the end, you're going to see a vast amount of change, which is really exciting, and that sort of drives you on. The second thing I'm going to say about that is actually the more I've done and the more detailed and careful and perfectly laid out perspective, planned, detailed, photorealistic that I do, the more I get pulled back to this, because I think it has an immediacy and a kind of jazz flourish that is really powerful, and I really love it. And so I would say sometimes it's very easy to look at very detailed and accurate pieces of artwork and think, God, I'll never get there. But I would say, why do you want it? What is the, what is the point in replicating a photo when you could just take a photo? So really, I'm often encouraging people, even beginner artists and intermediate artists, to return back to this free expression, return back to more powerful, gestural, fun pieces of artwork. Because the reality is we end up with lots of different strings to our bows if we do anything enough. If you play a musical instrument for long enough, you are probably going to develop a little bit of a rock style. You better do a little bit of classical. You might better play a bit of country. You know, that's the way that it tends to go, and it's the same with art. If you do it for long enough, you'll be able to do hyper-realistic, detailed things if you want to, but you'll also love the kind of mad, colourful flourishes and crazy line work that these quick drawings give you. So yes, it's great to be able to do really complicated drawings, the 3-course meal, you know, something that's detailed and civilized. But it's also great just to have a mucky bacon sandwich, or like a lovely donut sometimes, you know, something small, perfect and just juicy. I'm talking some nonsense today. We'll see you next time. Cheers then, bye.